First things first, you've got a book out recently of poetry. Tell us about that.
I do. It's called Pura Puta. I've got it right here.
Great.
Um, I it's all about pushing boundaries as a woman of color, a woman that is outspoken, woman raised as a Catholic girl child in a very progressive and liberal household, I guess I should say. So it kind of, shaped my identity, and it's got everything. It's got almost all of my poems in there. It's a poetic memoir for a reason.
Mm.
In the beginning, they are very raw poems that came out of my relationship and a life that I had prior to prior to this one. My past life, I guess, as a bakery deli manager for Furr's grocery store. And I would write when things were going wrong, when things were going good, and just keep the notes. I never knew that they would amount to anything. But once I went back to school, Furr's, they went bankrupt. And so I saw that as my opportunity to go back to school. And so that's where I really started writing again. So it's a composite from way in the back, in the beginning, things that were written just, for my beginning poetry classes or just for myself, that I decided to put in there in pretty much their raw forms because I wanted to see the progression myself
Mm.
from the beginning to what comes out at the end. So I was a little hesitant to do that, but I I do not like being disingenuous,
Mhm.
and so I thought that they were best in their raw form. And it's really interesting because a lot of the interviews that I have had, interviewers are choosing some of those kind of that I consider raw poems to ask me, what's going on here. So I really
Mhm.
do like that.
Interesting point there. Tell the folks a little bit about you too, just to flesh out a little bit about you. I think you're fascinating in this way. You're also a civil rights attorney. I want to talk about that part of your career as well. You've been a legislative analyst in our roundhouse, and you survived to tell the tale.
Yeah.
You're also a mom and a grandmom, and interesting. I was interested in your background when you started to mention your youth. What got you into poetry? Was it someone in your family? Was there a specific event? What led you to poetry in the first place? I'm super curious.
uh, what led me to poetry was that my father is a very prolific artist. He's an oil painter. He does contemporary art, and I
Mm.
cannot draw a stick figure. And my mom is a singer, and she had the most beautiful voice, and I can't carry a tune. But I was always part of my father's art because I would sit there on the other side of his easel. I was usually his model for whatever he needed. If he was he was is painting a bracero with a shovel or kneeling on the ground, pulling pulling up whatever it was. I was there, the one that was posing in the human 3D form, so that he could get it just right on the two-dimensional form, I guess, that it is his art. But I always felt a part of it, but I always I always had this flicker in there that said that I had some art in me too, and I just had to figure out what it was. I knew early on. I attribute this to my parents because my mom taught me how to read really early. I was 3 years old when I started reading,
Wow.
and my dad was a college student at the time. So when he would go to the library to check out books for himself in his classes, he would bring home books for me as well. So my mom provided me with that identity from very early on, and my dad always supported it. So I knew early on that I was a writer,
Mm.
and but it was the performer in me that really pushed the poet out, because I did not want to be identified as a poet. In the second grade, I can remember telling people, no, I'm a writer. I write short stories. And that was my story, and I was sticking to it.
Mhm.
But in the fifth grade, a teacher gave an assignment, and I was dead set against it, but I'm very competitive, especially as a student. So at the last minute, I sat down and cranked out this poem just to satisfy Sister Rosemary. And when I got up to read it in class, the reaction that I got, I just really loved it. I kind of have been searching for a stage all my life, and I realized that poetry could get me there. So I also realized that poetry isn't just about, nice, beautiful things, butterflies and rainbows and all of those things that I thought, but I knew that I could craft my short story into a poem that would have the song and the imagery that I long to have from both of my DNAs, right? And so once my dad told me that I paint with words, I decided that I was going to run with that.
That's pretty neat. I like that. That's a very fertile ground you sprung from. That's very interesting. Are there things about what you observe as a civil rights attorney that you have to just go home and write it down, literally, and just put it in a poetry form at some point from your notes? Does that happen?
I knew that in the application, I was going to have to attack that up front, that civil rights advocate in me that has that passion. Mm-hmm. So I did that immediately in the first paragraph, just like I would at trial, right? You take your weaknesses or your perceived weaknesses and you put them out there and explain them, and then you fortify that with the strengths that you really have. So I tried to do that because I was really worried about that. I was worried that people were going to think that I was just way too off on one side or the other to be a good poet laureate for the city of Albuquerque. But when I found out that I had been chosen and we had that discussion with the board, I realized that I had their support, and that was part of the reason that I was chosen, was my vocal advocacy. And so that has really empowered me, and it's humbled me at the same time, because now I know I can't just stand there and scream. I have to speak in a manner that's worthy of my position representing the city of Albuquerque, all of its citizens and constituents. It's not just me anymore. It's not just my ideology. Now it's the voices of those people that I know are being left out. And I know that because I understand the systemic structure now. I've lived in places where I've seen a lot of things and understand. And so I'm really thrilled. The very first poem I got to write was for the opening of the International District Library. Oh, I couldn't have kicked it off in a better manner, and now I've been invited by the Holocaust Museum and Martinez Town and different places, even by the Muslim community to write poems for events. So I'm just thrilled to death. I'm seeing that every poem I'm going to write is going to be a civil rights poem.